Oh, I forgot what time. I came back on
in the land of fire and lockdowns. Yes,
and wind. Everything is shut down here.
See, we haven't had it yet. We were told we were going to be put on watch, and then it never came. I know you guys have had it.
They almost canceled school today because I'm in like
East.
Yeah, because
the fire that broke out early this morning. Yeah,
we had a fire this morning too.
Yeah.
So I live in East County, which is near the mountains. So like some people live like out in the boonies in the mountains out here. So like my cousin right now, they don't have power for like 4 or 5 days. It's shut off.
Right.
So
well, now as people are coming in going, what are they talking about? We'll start the
joys of living in California.
Yeah. California.
Oh, yes. Realizing I need to get all my moderation tools going. Oh, hi, everybody.
Hello. We're back.
We are back. Hello, everybody. Welcome in. It is Thursday night. It is your early Friday party house. It is your post-Thanksgiving letdown. No, pick me up. It is your holiday merry place. It is the place where I am proudly supporting San Diego because one of our co-hosts down here is on her way to
that way.
Yes, one with the here. So on her way to 1,000 so that she can do amazing things with a Fortnite creator code, which I went and got after she said, "Oh, you need to have it." I'm like, "Oh, I have like 2,000 something. I'm getting myself a creator code just to flex on her." My name is James O'Hagan. I am the host of the Academy of Esports podcast. And since I was just talking about her, we'll just start down here tonight.
Hello, friends. My name is Gianas. I am a NASF Scholastic mentor and an English teacher in San Diego, California.
And to her left.
That's
would be
the left.
Yeah.
Right? It's the left.
But to everybody watching, it's the right.
Hey everybody, I'm Bradford, Ted Tinker on Twitter, NASF Scholastic Fellow, TechSef Chief Learning Officer, and Coordinator of Digital Innovation in Houston.
And my regular compatriot who we never seem to go anywhere in the esports circuit without running into each other.
Esports wife.
Don't say that because people will start repeating that nonsense.
You guys are the one who said it. Why?
Because it happened and it was weird. It was so weird. I'm Carrie, otherwise known as the Chuck Mujo. I'm the communication specialist over at Liminal Esports and Snowbright Studio.
All right. Let's do a quick, just because we're here, let's do a quick check here on where Miss Gianas is at this moment. Because
I don't even know.
Oh, well, we're about to find out because I'm
last update I got was you are 70 away.
Oh, so close, you guys.
Oh.
If they shut down the creator code thing, I will cry.
You are at 937.
I'm so close.
So we got to do something completely outrageous and outlandish tonight to get you to 1,000. Like, I don't know. Like I said, if you hit 1,000 while we're on broadcast, I will karaoke. I will tell Jarrell he has to get in here, and we will do Ebony and Ivory together, and we will sing.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
Jarrell's in chat too.
Oh, I know Jarrell's in chat. That's why I said it.
Nick says he's going to make a bunch of Finstas and follow. I thought about it, but we want to be legit here. We like Jim said, we don't want any fraud. I don't want any recounts. Like, I need to make sure that this is legit. I've wanted this for a very long time. Those of you who know me and who are close to me know that I've been whining about a Fortnite creator code for about a year now, maybe longer. So I gotta be legit.
Well, let's talk about that because again, I flexed on you when I got mine so easily the other night. And but
that was just mean.
It was just mean.
That was just mean. I saw it and I'm like, oh my God, why did you do that to her?
Or my favorite was, well, if you wouldn't have taken a break from some of the esports EDU stream. I'm like,
that's a conduct cut.
Well, but here's the thing. So explain, because there may be members of the audience now who, don't know what we're talking about. Because to be quite frank, Angelique, when you put it out there that you could get one, I was like, I don't know what I can do with this, but I will find out. What is it that you can do with a Fortnite creator code? Because obviously a lot of people know what Fortnite is, but they may not know what the creator code does.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think the bigger reason that people have it is, I guess, like if you have your own creator code and you give it to people and people use your creator code when they buy a battle pass, you get a cut of it.
Yeah.
I could care less about that. What I want to use it for is you can create your own custom Fortnite games. So I can create my own custom games to hold like a community game night for just my school. And I give my kids that specific code, and it's only 100 of my students or 100 of my students and their friends or whatever community in there. So, when we're in distance learning and we're online, Fortnite is by far the easiest way to host the most amount of students in the smallest amount of time. And that's the easiest way to connect my kids to school right now, because as it stands, at least in California, we are probably not going back to school until, I would argue, next August.
Yeah, I'm thinking that might be. I mean, we're definitely pushing or trying to push here, but like our county just told the school district they're not going to accept. No waivers going to be accepted until we get our numbers under control, and so that's. I mean, I'm relieved. But it definitely pushes back, like, because they were planning on getting everybody back in January.
Late
December and January.
A lot of schools were supposed to go back this week here.
Yeah,
and we were off until out of building, I should say, not off, but out of building as educate, even because the teachers have been in the school building since the beginning of the school year.
Right
now, it's the capacity of our hospitals. It's not so much that we have.
Yeah.
I mean, we have major outbreaks, but it's the capacity of hospitals to service people and service just the normal stuff.
And that's what's scary. Yeah.
And that's because we've had Gavin Newsom did the state of California this afternoon in regards to COVID, and that's they broke our whole state down into regions, and that's how we're getting put down. Like we start a 3-week stay-at-home order in like 2 days, and it's based on your region's ICU capacity, essentially. So once you get to a certain level, your whole area gets essentially not locked down, because it's not as strict as like a lockdown, but a lot more restrictions get put in place for a 3-week period to hope to try and keep those numbers to the point where the ICUs don't reach capacity.
We're pushing through that. We're pushing through down here. There is no lockdown. We're keeping it going.
Yeah.
The kid, I don't know why, but I know when I came back to work on Tuesday, I know my district hasn't released proposed calendars yet, but others around me have released calendars. And the first thing I thought of was, well, number one, where's ours? Just to look at. Fine, whatever. It's just that season. But as I was looking at them, I'm going, well, where is the proposed adjustment calendars that you need to look at? Because they just, I think we're thinking, and I'm not saying my district because I don't know where my district is in their process, but I think that we're thinking, oh, we're just going to go back to whatever that normal is. You're going to have to start thinking what happens if you're going to have to shift and go back to whatever this virtual is, or you're going to have to plan for that. And I just looked at all the calendars that I saw. I'm going, okay, you don't have a plan for what this looks like when you're going to have to go back home, because I know cases, no matter what state you're in, they're still rising and they haven't stopped. And with us being even Thanksgiving break, when we came back, I know the numbers were increasing. And I'm just shaking my head going, okay, so they're telling us to stay home, do what you're supposed to do. But people are like, I'm at home and I want to go and do what I want to do. And I'll just take the risk. I want to see family, friends. I don't have to go to work. I'm tired of being at home and working, whatever the reason is, whatever it is. But now they're going out doing what they want to do. And now you come back and now those numbers are increasing. But I know some district people are like, we gotta figure this out because kids aren't doing well in school. So we gotta keep pushing through. And I'm like, is that the answer?
We had an interesting meeting today, and they talked about, and it really put it into perspective for me because we've been closed since March, right? And they were talking about if we don't go back until August, half of the kids at our school will have never had set foot on our campus. So some of them had been on campus for just a few months, and that was it. Like they left as a freshman. And they're now coming back as a junior.
Yeah.
So they were talking about what is that? And it's the bigger idea. What does that do for our school community? What does that do for, the vibe that our campus has? And I was like, wow, I didn't even think about that. Where do we go from there when we get back? And basically half of our kids have never even seen the school before.
The word I used, because I was talking with our student services director, and for lack of a better phrase, feral. It's going to be kids who have never, or some who have had very interesting, may have already been on the cusp of, being, what we say, troublemakers. But now you've got almost 2 school years, 1.5 school years of no normal socialization within a school. That is going to be if we think we're going to go back and school's just going to start back up and it's going to be like, hey, summer's over, welcome back to school. No,
I mean, there's so much that's going to be weird. Just even having conversations with my son about due dates. Everything's been online and his teachers have been really cool. So none of the due dates have really been hard until, midterms and end of the term. And it's dude, you got to keep in mind that they've set this up for you, but in high school, lots of teachers don't accept late work. So you've been sort of trained for this online thing where everyone's really understanding and you don't have to set the schedule to yourself of everything's got to be done that night because I got to turn it in tomorrow. So when he actually goes back to school on campus, which probably won't happen as a freshman, so it's probably going to happen as a sophomore, he's going to come in without any of that training that they normally get,
right?
Where you're no, all this work gets done that night. It's ready to get turned in the next morning because my teachers are not going to accept it late.
Right.
And that's not what they're getting exposed to. So the habits that they're learning, especially the kids that have transitioned into, a new school, they're not getting the foundation that is going to be the reality once they're on site. And I'm hoping that the teachers realize that. I'm hoping they realize that when they get these sophomores in, they're really getting freshmen.
Yeah.
Freshman classes are coming.
Oh my God, two classes of freshmen. Oh my God.
That's essentially what it'll be.
Yeah.
Or worse, two classes of 6th graders. But
God, that's gonna be everybody. So what's going to need to happen is there's going to need to be some type of onboarding plan for everybody. And what my friend Shana calls it, you're going to need a week 0. You're going to need a whole week 100%. You're going to need what is the process going to look like for this whole entire week, just so you understand how to turn stuff in, still how to learn the learning management system, because you think the learning management system is going to go away. No, it's not going to go away. You're still going to need to utilize that. You're going to, just like you said, Carrie, you're going to have to learn how to turn in work. You're going to have to learn classroom structure. all of those things are still going to be put in place. That's going to take a good solid week. You can't just go in.
Oh, it's going to take more. I think you're looking at the whole first quarter potentially is going to be learning expectations and making that adjustment, because it's going to be a huge one.
I mean, we were talking about doing this thing called, so normally we used to do this thing called Highlander Camp, because we're like the Helix Highlanders, and kids would. We are the Scotty Dogs, actually.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah. And our football field is all plaid. It's pretty cool.
Really?
I'll send you a picture.
Yes, please do.
Very Wonderland.
It's pretty cool. And so we used to do this thing called Highlander Camp, where the freshmen got to go basically like to, like 6th grade, like a retreat, where they like got to know each other, got to know the freshman teachers, just to transition into high school. So we were talking like, maybe we need to bring that back. And I mean, we were just in this like damage control. Like, we need to come up with any sort of community building stuff right now too, which leads me back to why I need a Fortnite creator code to build a community.
Yeah.
Well, and in our esports Discord, it took us a long time this year to normalize our freshmen. That was a hard thing to do. Even as there's been some tensions in between teams, and GMs have tried to manage that. It's been a struggle again, because we aren't face to face, because we aren't all together in the same location. We can't have that eye contact and say, "Hey, don't do that."
Yeah.
And I had this conversation with my boss today, because Angelique will be happy to hear this. Her charge, Mr. Travis Witt, is looking to create a whole new esports course, English esports course. And now's the time to do it, because we got to get it in the catalog, blah, blah, blah. And so I raised the question with my supervisor, who oversees our chief academic office. I said, look, COVID, horrible, terrible thing, but can we take what we have been doing now for the last 8 months, 9 months now, and utilize this and think about courses in new ways? Travis is putting together an amazing English course based around esports for seniors, and we don't have to do it. We can do it as elective credit. I don't give a care right now. I just want to see if this works.
Yeah.
But what if that kid at Case High School or Horlick High School or Real or Walden wants to take that course?
Right.
The old model would have been, hey, each of those buildings have to contribute FTE, which is how we fund our teacher positions, right? Why do we now not just let Travis teach that course in a synchronous environment, face-to-face in his school at Park, but then have the streamed in students from, and I know we can't just do this with like a webcam and whatever. We would have to build like an actual room, an actual experience. I've seen it.
Yeah.
I've done it at NIU in Rockford, where I took classes in Rockford, but they were coming from DeKalb. We can do it. It's just, we have to think about it and plan it now. And I hope we don't go back to that whole, like, oh, we have to sit in the classroom for 2 hours a day and we have to, I don't want to go back to that crap. I really just don't. It's so.
Well, we're gonna go back to that. I mean, it's gonna go back to it.
Well,
it's just it's just a matter of our administration's going to put in the time and the effort to start thinking about that transition. Because like, I feel like right now everybody's still just trying to get in this year. It's like, nope, we're going in. I would love to see districts just step up and go, no, you know what? We're not. So we're going to focus on getting through this year the best we can. We're going to put some time and thought and effort into building community and making sure that we're doing this distance learning right. We're going to, figure out, we're going to assess what's working and what isn't. And we're going to just carry on. Like, we're going to do the best that we can. And in this interim, we're going to make solid plans for how we're going to transition everybody back onto campus when this is over. Because it's not, I think, like, I keep running into people. It's like, oh, it'll just be great because it'll just go back to normal. No, you can't go through what we've gone through and then just come back and have it be normal. There's been too much time has passed. There's been too much disruption. There's going to be an adjustment, and if you're not taking that into consideration and you're not thoughtfully planning for that, because it's not just going to be the kids, it's going to be the teachers too. Like, it's everybody is going to be in somewhat of a state of shock when the schools are just open and everybody's there, and all of a sudden we're back to this system. Not only that, but it's going to be people that are semi-traumatized by being in schools full of people. We will have come off of over a year of being in this like cocooned bubble where people are having nightmares about being in restaurants and suddenly realizing they're in a crowded space and they're not wearing a mask. Like, we've been conditioned to something, and suddenly putting yourself come August back into a school that's fully staffed and fully, occupied by kids is going to put a lot of people in an extreme state of stress. Like, that's going to be something that we're going to have to adjust and get used to as well. So there's a lot to think about. And if you're in administration and you're not thinking about this now, you are not doing a service to your students. You're not doing a service to your staff. Like, this is stuff that needs to be thought out in advance.
100%. You're absolutely right, Kate. And the funny thing is, this coming second semester, and close to maybe the end of this third 9 weeks and going in the fourth 9 weeks, going into the summer, really, all of that. If your state is pushing testing, okay, that's another topic. We're not going to get into that right now. If that's what you're doing, that's what you're doing.
Yeah.
But really, that in that semester, you're really not doing anything new. So while you're not doing anything new, that's your time to say, okay, we need to figure this out. We have this wide range of time to figure out, number one, putting my teachers in place. 2, figuring out what professional development we need. 3, how to restructure this out, because this ain't going away. Even though they've said on TV that, okay, we're going to have the vaccine, the doctors have said that even if this vaccine is coming, you still got to do your part and stay social distance. Just because you get the injection or whatever it is you're going to get, that doesn't mean that you're cured. And I saw that, what was it, Saturday morning? I just happened to be watching a documentary on it. And I was also thinking, what about those people who believe that I'm just not going to get a shot? Because there's people who don't believe in immunizations, period.
It's going to happen.
You're gonna fight that too. So this is not 100% going to go away by August. No. And some districts I know are thinking, well, we're probably going to need an actual virtual campus. We're going to have to start converting principals. Guess what, Principal O'Hagan? Now that you are
the principal now.
Well, my man, what? You're a principal. Instead of you being a brick and mortar, guess what? Now all of a sudden you're virtual. I don't know anything about virtual. Well, you better figure it out. You're elected. You better get your virtual teachers. They better know A, B, C, D, E. You need to get the best of the best. They need to know the LMS, this, and this. Yeah. I mean, ideally you have a good amount of time to really figure this out versus in the past year where you thought you had time, where you thought you may have been the expert, because I know some districts that tried to hire, let's get this expert that knows virtual learning, where you had people in your backyard that you didn't hire. And I know, because I've been in those chats where they were like, okay, well, we're sitting here, we're saying, hey, we're here. Oh, no, we got it figured out. And really weren't utilized to the fullest extent. So next semester really is a really good time to say, hey, let's really plan this out. And if something should happen, and guess what? Everybody's able to get it and everything's great, then great, fine. But if not, here is our plan B. We're ready to go. We're ready to move on.
Because even if you look at the immunization, like they're talking about waves of this rolling out over the course of like a year or more. So it's not even like it's going to be, spring's going to come, it's going to get, and we're all going to get, like, no, there's going to be tiers as to who has access to it and who doesn't.
Well, think about this too. Pfizer just announced today that because of supply issues, they're only going to deliver half of what they promised. Number one, out the gate. Number two, there was a book I read to my fifth graders, because I loved reading to my fifth graders. Oh my God, come in the afternoon and like, do you want to teach? Heck no, I'll just read to you guys for like an hour. Like, y'all just came off a recess and I just had a really heavy lunch. Let's read. But I would read to them because it's important. And there was a book I read to them about polio. like polio outbreaks, and just how polio outbreaks would shut down whole communities. It would just, and parents, we're talking in the 30s and 40s and 50s where you're not going outside, stay indoors, no going to the pool, no. And of course, all they had was radio, and if they were lucky, TV. But here's the thing is that when they first gave that polio vaccine to kids, what happened? They got polio.
Yeah.
Now, I know that these things are working differently, but again, even though we've tested it, even though there's been trials, we still don't know fully what this is going to be. So let's not put all our eggs in a basket and say like, hey, by June, we're going to be fine. Even though I will say, I hope we're good by June, because ISTE 2021, I want that Esports EDU house in San Antonio. I want it to be like Party Central. I want to lose the deposit. I want the cleaning ability triple like what we're supposed to pay, because it was so dang cheap. And I'm looking at it going, it would be so neat to just have an Esports EDU like coming together June 2021 at this house in San Antonio at ISTE. But again, I can't put all my eggs in that basket yet.
I know, it'd be so fun.
I think the other thing when you're looking at like vaccines, you got to keep in mind the development schedule that usually happens with vaccines. Like this is usually years that they're in production before they're approved, and we're dealing with stuff that's getting approved within a year. And as someone who likes science, that scares the crap out of me. Because there are no long-term studies. You're not necessarily getting the population groups that you would like to see. There's a lot of what ifs, and for people who are probably going to be like the first end of it, who end up with compromised immune systems, like it's potentially a huge risk. So we don't know what we're going to get. We just have to hope it works out well. But it's definitely, a concern. And then on top of it, like it's even down to like sub pools. You think your kids were bad with subs before we went on this break?
My God. How about getting subs now?
Like, no. Like, I know our district is down, I think 50% on hired subs. But so if your school's not even like if you're admin, you got to be looking at how you're supporting your subs when we come back, because they're going to be in for a whole nother level of hurt. It's going to be a completely different ballgame.
Here's another thing that that I was thinking too. What about when you start separating the haves and the have-nots that got it, that don't got it? So you got your shot. I didn't get mine. I'm gonna need you to stay away from me. What will that be like? Because that's gonna happen. Let's just be honest. When that comes down the pipe and you don't get your vaccination, or you do get your vaccination, there are going to be some people that may or may not feel some kind of way because you may or may not have gotten it.
Yeah,
that's a real conversation. Or even as educators, hey, I didn't get mine because number one, well, everybody supposedly can afford it. But what if, as an educator, I don't believe in getting that? Are you going to force me as an admin to get it? Or does that affect my job because I have to get the vaccine? Does the rule books have to change because the vaccinations have to go out? Or, hey, why aren't we virtual? Can I be a virtual teacher and not get the vaccination?
Or is it going to get tagged into, because I know, certain areas, if you're not up to date with your vaccines, you can't attend public school. Is that going to go on that list of like, no, if you don't have this, you can't attend, and are we going to be equipped to house or teach those students virtually while we're waiting for the population to get vaccinated, and also realizing that we're never going to have 100% vaccination. There's always a pile of people who aren't going to do it.
Well,
we don't know who got it or whatnot. But you do, as far as a school is concerned, because you have to provide your vaccination record in public school. It has to happen. You can't step on foot in a campus as a student. Like, you can't be in a classroom if your vaccination records aren't on file in the office.
There is one state that I know of that even if you claim religious whatever or conscientious, like whatever reason, there is one state in this country that doesn't care and says you have to be vaccinated in order to attend school. Do you know which state that is?
I believe we do.
You are going to be completely surprised. I'll give you the obvious one. It's not California. Go to Berkeley with that nonsense of anti-vaxxers, forget that. One state in this country that requires you cannot even claim a religious or personal choice. You have to be vaccinated to attend school. Public school.
I don't know.
Mississippi.
That's random.
That's surprising.
Really?
Don't ask how I know that. It's just Mississippi is that one state in the whole country that requires everybody. They don't care.
Really?
They don't care. Nope. You have to, if you're going to go to public school, you got to be vaccinated.
I wonder, I feel like when we do go back, kind of like what Carrie was saying, like there is no science on the long-term effects of it. So I think there's going to be quite a few people that do not get it, like you guys are talking about. But is that going to force all public schools to then have a virtual option? Is that going to be part of our public school system, is that there is a virtual option?
I mean,
You're talking about my job. You're talking about my job.
Yeah,
but most districts don't have that. Like if you look at most districts have a continuation program, which usually has some sort of hybrid homeschool or independent learning program. And I think that's where a lot of kids are going to end up being funneled, or they're going to be thrown into the charter homeschool system that can kind of function under their own ruling. Unless it gets to the point where districts are like, okay, now for every district, there is one virtual school. Like that is a way that we could go about, doing it. But I do not see every school having a virtual footprint.
So here's how we in the state of Wisconsin operate. And we're unique. It's because a lot of, we were the testing ground for a lot of things in education. Like if you don't know what Act 10 is, Act 10 stripped all educators of their collective bargaining rights. So there is basically the union can only bargain for salaries. That's it. Can't bargain anything else. Nothing else. You've lost your collective bargaining rights on anything else. But we also did now is we have our voucher state, which is basically throughout the state, which you can take your money and go wherever you want, right? If you can get yourself to another school district and they'll take you. But that has also bled into our virtual program. So I will say that while Act 10 is painful and a lot of the charter monies is painful, what that has done for us is we have a very robust statewide network of virtual schools. Some very good, some not so good, but some very good virtual schools. And I work with a lot of those people because our teachers, ironically, teach a lot of kids. We are the Racine Unified School District is the biggest provider of statewide teachers for virtual programs, if you can believe that nonsense. And we don't even have like a full quote unquote virtual school. My virtual program is that it's a program. I don't have to do any of the state reporting. I don't have to do any of that nonsense. I just provide the content, the courseware, and all that. That's a sustainable model for a lot of school districts, that they don't have to necessarily pull in all of that. And I think it's something that a lot of states could look at and go, hey, we want to do it that way. But it's to ramp up and do that between what now and and what are we talking? 9 months, 10 months?
Yeah, August.
It's not happening. Yeah. It's not happening. So yeah, there's a lot there. And let's put it back with esports. If let's say this doesn't work out like we hope it will, we're still going to have those issues of equity. We're still going to have those issues of access. We're still going to have these issues of another 6 months to a year of kids out of school. Let's think about that. Even today I was on a conference call. We were asked, what video games should we play? And I'm like, you can pick some titles, but damn, you better start diversifying those titles really quickly. And I think we've talked about having much smaller experiences, not
GTA.
Hey, let's get social. Sure. Let's have GTA. I'm actually kind
why
of
not?
That, so Kevin is bringing the GTA goodness. But we do need to start thinking about having these situations where our esports programs need to reflect the experiences that our kids are currently having, and it's not going to be the traditional model that everybody thinks it's going to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who's venting again? Who said I'm venting? Is somebody saying I'm venting in chat?
He's venting again.
Maybe.
No,
venting meaning like among us.
Like among us.
I'm guessing. Yes.
It's a good one.
Let's see where Angelique is at on the board right now. She's 60 away. You are 60 away.
60.
If everybody has not gone out and bugged everybody they know to follow her yet, what are you doing right now?
She's like the nicest person to follow too. Come on, we need to help Angelique because we've got to get her to that 1,000. That 1,000 number is her.
We have pushed her pretty far in 48 hours. I will say that.
Yeah, I've gotten like 140 followers in the last like 2 days.
Yeah.
Wow.
I
like I said, if you hadn't skipped out on some,
I know,
because that's what it was.
That's definitely what put me under. It's just
if you just leveraged your LinkedIn a little better.
That's probably it, to be honest. I was like, shoot, I gotta update my LinkedIn. Like, I need to do it.
Don't we all know? I mean,
I'm trying here. I'm trying to teach the children. I got I'm doing my final paper now. So I actually wanted to ask you guys if you had any ideas for me, or chat if you have any ideas for me. I'm doing my final paper now. My kids have their final paper due tomorrow night. And then I'm going to grade them this weekend. It's going to be great. Can't wait. And then they can revise them. But I did it early on purpose because I wanted to give the last week of school, I want it to be open to just do something fun with my kids they're leaving me in December. I'm getting a new batch in January. So I will have never met these kids ever. So I wanted to leave the last week of school to do something fun with them. Okay. But I don't know what to do. What should I do? Obviously, I want to do games. Yeah.
Ooh, if you could get that creator code, you could. Oh wait, sorry.
I don't know. I don't know if I could swing doing Fortnite in class.
Wait, what are you looking to do though? I mean, do you want to do a game, or do you want to do like I said, karaoke? Hey,
Oh my God, they would never. They don't even unmute their mics to talk to me in real life, regularly. There's no way.
Okay.
But I don't know. I was obviously I could play Among Us. They'd love that. But I'm how, I don't know, maybe Jackbox, something that all my kids can just pick up and do. And it's just going to be lighthearted fun. It's finals week. But for me, I'm doing the final early. And I just want to have fun with them. This sucks. They spent a whole semester in distance learning.
It's so hard again because you don't get that chance to. The thing that I missed the most of teaching in the classroom it came from I think my first year of teaching where we ran a country. Actually, we called it a country. We called it Ohegania. I printed up money. We had everybody had a job. I made people pay rent based on where they sat in class. We even took it into Sim City, and I give kids we ran the Sim City like a government, right? Mm-hmm. But you don't, again, in this virtual environment, you don't get that experience. You don't get that chance to have something just kind of pop up and grow, in your class to become a thing.
Yeah, it's different because I've run a lot of TTRPGs in class, but doing it virtually. I mean, we've part of it was always through Google Docs because that was the easiest way for things to move throughout the day within groups and me, and still have there be no downtime. You could be progressing, but so there's Blue, but so much of it. Yeah, so much of it was.
Did your dog have a sweater on?
He does.
It is literally okay. I'm going to say this because I need a
sick.
Wait, I need a fangirl for. Wait, I need a fangirl for just a second because Keisha Howard loved our stream on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
But Keisha, who's also down in Chicago, knows this. It's 20 degrees out right now. What would your dog do in Wisconsin? Just not go outside?
No, he would get used to it. He was ill this week. He was really not in a good way. Okay. Yesterday was the first day that he's felt better, so his coat will come off tonight. Plus, our heater broke, so there's that too.
Oh no!
Well, if we look in the chat, there is some interesting things that are popping up.
I know, I'm clicking on it.
All right,
maker code.
Ooh.
You know, if only we knew somebody at Epic who could just grease the wheels and just, you know,
Not
hey, Steve Isaacs, this is something you should be able to do. Like, you've got the Epic hookup. Like, Steve,
I've asked him. He said
Really?
he doesn't know the right people.
Oh, you got it.
He
That's
was the
true.
first person I came to. I was like, Steve, come on.
give me the
And
code.
he was like, I can't do it. And I was like, just give me someone's email that I can send an email to. And he's like, I don't know. And I was like, so here I am. They opened it back up, and all y'all got your creator codes, but little old me with my 940 whatever. So close.
Well, let us, since we brought up Steve, let's just do this here.
Oh, let's hype the book.
Let's hype the book a little bit here, okay? So here is the, and I'll put the link in the chat if you have not gotten to check it out yet, the Esports Education Playbook, Empowering Every Learner Through Inclusive Gaming, has just been released. Now, I am not going to say who wrote the foreword to the book.
No, I don't know who that is.
I wonder.
But yes, I did write the foreword to the book. Chris Avilas, who I think he's in chat here, he's Garden State Esports right now. Steve Isaacs has been in chat before. Jesse Lubinsky, who I met for the first time down in Austin, Texas, and we talked about the book. That was an introduction through Ken Shelton, so thank you, Ken, for that. And Christine Lyon Bailey, who is an elementary school principal. I don't know where she's an elementary school principal, but they got together, and it's one of the first books related to esports edu.
Did you see his #1 new release? You're famous.
It's doing really well.
Look, I'm getting no royalties in this at all. I wrote the damn forward. Okay, but I will.
Did you see my quote? I'm like,
No, I didn't see her. You got quoted too.
Yeah, what did you say about having a migraine?
You can read it and you can tell I'm on like day 8 of a migraine. I totally forgot, and I'm reading the quote and I'm like, yeah, that's a migraine brain right there. Like, I know what I'm saying. I know they know what I'm saying, but if you read it, do you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah.
Well, and what's the funny thing too is when they asked Bradford for his, he did like a 15-minute rant, and they're like,
no, I didn't. Did I really?
Can we cut this down?
And they just said,
no,
and the quote got cut down to Bradford likes the book, and just put it
no, I probably did, because I told him, like, I don't even know what I said. He said, oh, you said something really good. About what did I say? I don't even remember what I say anymore. And then when I got the book, I kid you not, Chris, I know he in here listening. So I got the book, so I'm thumbing through and I'm looking. I see everybody's quote. I'm gonna be honest, I got pissed, and because I'm like, wait a minute, where am I? And I started getting, and then because then I saw, I'm gonna be frank, I saw Ken in there. I said, I know they did not mix me and Ken in here, and he said I'm in the book. I'm like, I know they did not think that we look alike. So I started. It was late when I got the book. I'm like, what? Oh, here I am. Oh, yeah, I did say that. Yeah, that's right. I stand by that too. I still remember that. I don't remember when we did the interview. It must have been.
It was a while ago.
Because my title had changed since then. I'm like,
yeah.
Oh,
well,
yeah.
That's mine too. I'm like the director of Gaming for Education and Progressive Learning Academy. I'm like, yeah, that's not a thing anymore.
I mean, it took forever. I'm sure. Like, when did they start writing this book? How long ago?
It was a while ago.
I think
Chris downstairs.
Yeah, Chris left chat. He said goodnight all a while ago. So
I talked to Jesse. Let's see, it was TCA last year, so it was February.
Okay.
So it was around
last year.
February. No, February this year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, February this year, and I myself have been working on a book of esports and education, but here's the thing. I'll be quite frank and honest, is that I've talked to my therapist many times about, and maybe everybody else has kind of had this thing too. We went into COVID shutdown, and I know a lot of our kids really struggled. A lot of us professionally and personally struggled through that. That was a time where I thought, I have all this time now to write the book, finish my dissertation, do that.
Mm-hmm.
Never did it. Never felt the intrinsic motivation to do it. But here's what I will say is that the four of us who are here and the others who have contributed, I've met Danielle and Bradford, but for the most of us, and Sam, but for the most of us, and Jarrell. Okay, I've met most people. But this has grown up during all of this. We have not had normal experience while doing this esports edu chat, and I am thankful that this has become. I know when Carrie and I kind of talked about this, and it was like, where do we do it and how do we do it, and so on and so forth. This has become something that I hope you people who are watching this, because I remember we started it with single digits, and like Danielle and Bradford and Carrie and I were like, well, what are we going to talk about? I hope that you people are enjoying this. We're not taking any sponsorship dollars. We do this all free of our own time. I don't think I would ever take a sponsorship dollar to do this, unless you all want to do sponsorship. If you all want to get paid, that's fine. I don't know, like nice headphones or computers or something. But
I'll take a computer.
I'm really all about the idea that as educators, if people want to engage in this space, I'm willing to give it away for free. I'm willing to talk about whatever it is, and we can give it away for free.
Well, and it's a different method. Like having a book is great, but once that book is written, that book is written. And I think being able to have a place where you can go and have, live communication with people, where you can ask questions, you can get, real-time feedback, you can get responses to, things that are happening that week. I think there's power in that too. So like, are we going to see more books written? Damn straight we are. Like this is the first. Believe me, there will be a glut in the esport book market. It will happen. Some of them are going to be really good. Some of them aren't. But that's the way it goes with all education markets. But it's about finding the place that you want to go to for information. And I'm happy that we turned this into what it is. Got it off Twitter, where it wasn't thriving, and turned it into a format where it's doing much better. It has, I think, a lot more soul this way.
I remember doing a I forgot what the chat was, but they were doing an online chat, but they wanted to add in, get this. This was I forget when this was. I knew it was, I was in Milwaukee for this. They wanted to do an education chat, right? On, hashtag, but they wanted people to go to bars. And so it went on for, I forget when this was, but this is, again, a few years ago. It went on for an hour.
Okay.
So I get to the bar, meet the couple of people. We're sitting there having conversations at the table. Cool idea, right? By the end of the night, though, after an hour, and you're sitting at a bar and you're having some beverages, the chat got, I won't even call it spicy. I'll call it messy. The chat
I call that drunk PD.
Oh my God.
And man, okay. I'll be me and Joe Marquez actually thought about that. I remember we were in Sci-Fair, like, we should do something called Drunk PD, but you couldn't advertise it. Yeah. You couldn't tweet it out. So like you had to confiscate your phone.
It would be rogue. Yeah.
It would be very rogue. And how would we get a certificate? Oh, you would just call it like, it'd be like a fight club. So how would you get credit? It would be some type of certificate that just looks like you went somewhere and you just got a professional development. But you call it drunk PD. But you call it
drunk PD.
You don't talk about drunk PD, but you would call it, I don't know.
I'm trying to get
building relationships or something. Building relationships through
community building.
Community building. I want to go to community building. Well, fill out this application before you go, so we can invite you. What application? Yes. I can't just register. No, you can't register for this. Fill out this paper. Paper? It's not online? No. There can't be a paper trail.
There's no. In
fact, I have to burn this after you fill it out.
It's so weird to think that this started while we were in quarantine. Like this is, I don't know. I think about
because it made the transition. I'm trying to think. Did we start it before we were doing the stuff for NASF or after? I think it was after NASEF, wasn't it?
Oh, we did this we started this in the middle of summer.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so it was after NASEF.
When we were in person, I always missed the Twitter chats because that's when my gaming club was.
Right.
So every time I'd like go back and read everybody's stuff, but it would be like long over because we ended at 5:30, and I'm like, well, like the one thing I want to make every week I can't make. So it's, I don't know, it's just been like, I mean, I see a bunch of people in chat saying like it's part of their weekly thing. Like this is the one thing that I do a week.
Yeah.
That is not like teaching or grading or whatever. Like I don't get to, we obviously don't get to go out anymore. And it's just, this community that we've built here and this chat that we've hosted with everybody in our chat talking all the time. And like all of you guys posting all my stuff about getting me followers. I'm like, how did this all happen since March? Like
you're down to 50. You need 58, by the way. I just checked.
Oh, wow.
58.
That's that's a class. That's like a classroom and a half.
That's like one viral tweet. Should I tweet something about putting stickers on your face or something and then have
Where does that come in?
Because everybody went crazy about that on Twitter.
Yeah.
I know where we can find one Twitter account that is not following you, and it's somebody in this conversation right now, Jarrell.
Oh, Jarrell.
Yeah, Jarrell, I'm looking at you.
Yeah, straight up. You need to just log on right now.
Jarrell, create a Twitter account so you can follow Angelique.
Your bio can be, I will never use this.
I'm only here to follow Miss Gianas.
Yeah, that's your username too. I only follow Miss Gianas, and then you find a picture of her online.
You can
Believe
lurk.
Me,
you don't have to follow anybody on social media. You can just lurk.
Oh yeah. You think of how many people I get followed by that have never tweeted once, and I'm like, well, when was this? 2013. I was like, okay.
Sorry, Jarrell. I'm not busting you out, but here, and I also want to say this too because I hope we didn't leave this kind of hanging out there. Writing a book is such a friggin' process.
Yeah,
I can imagine.
It is. It's because here's this, right? We show up, we do what we do best. We talk amongst ourselves, we share our ideas, we share our topics, and then we're done.
We're done for a week, right?
Right. It's cathartic. It feels fantastic. We get cool people joining in on 5 different social media platforms now sometimes. And it's an easy uplift for us going into the weekend.
Yeah.
But writing that book, sitting down, mapping it out, taking work ideas that are in your head, putting them and forming them into words, putting those words to paper and making it coherent, and then sending it to somebody to say, read this, and then them cutting it up saying, I don't like this, or can you read it?
Yeah, I can't imagine.
Well, as teachers, we do it all the time to kids, though.
I'm an English teacher. I literally am doing it right now. But like the thought of writing an entire, what is it, like 200 pages or 300 pages or something like that?
It doesn't have to be that long.
But, their book. I think it's like 195
I bought the digital copy.
pages or something. Like I cannot even grasp that in my head. Like I wouldn't even. It's just so much work. And like you said, like having someone then pair it up after you do all that work.
Yeah.
I wrote it in 72-point font and wingdings.
Yeah, it's a big undertaking, especially at a period of time where everyone's stressed. Like,
as it says here, I'd rather write a blog. Well, I'm a person who loves, I've talked up LinkedIn before. I like using it. It's one of those social media platforms where I'm trying to connect with certain people. They only have like a 2,500 character limit, but I will fill that whole 2,500 characters. Okay. I will take a thought and just parse it out and put it out there. Why I can't turn that into a book, I don't know. But I love doing the podcast too. The podcast is like, I wish each of you would have a podcast. I would love to see.
What would I do with it though?
I had one and I stopped. I need to get back on it. I had one.
I don't even know what I talk about.
But see, you don't have to. It doesn't have to be 45 minutes. It doesn't have to be 30. Look, I'm looking at the people who are even in this chat, and I'm going. There are almost everybody in here. Even if you were talking for 10 minutes once a week, 10 minutes, and just said, "Here's a thought that I have," and just talk about it for 5 to 10 minutes and put it out there. I would rather have a 5 to 10 minute podcast than a 45. I know I go long form. But I'd rather have 5 to 10 minutes.
Amanda says I do literally nothing.
Well, and of course, my next project is going to be cooking. It's going to be a cooking podcast, and it's going to be esports related cooking podcast. It's coming.
See, I do. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I'm all over the place.
Well,
I will also say though too. I know we're about to wrap up, but even like hosting the actual Twitter chats, if you're hosting one, that takes a lot of work too. Participating is okay, but putting it together, scheduling it out, being a part of it, that takes a lot of work.
I had a Google Doc that I tried to prep a year in advance for topics, and I just swap out stuff that was topical if it needed to take its place. But yeah,
I love doing it, but it's hard to. I think that's why I like this format a lot better, because we don't plan anything. Whatever just pops in our head, we plan, or whatever we see in our feeds, we talk about it. But a chat, you have to, especially EDU chats, you have to be so thorough and just it's a lot to it's a lot to produce, even if it's just a slow chat and 2 questions or 4 questions.
Yeah,
it's a lot, and it gets really daunting. That's why I've stopped doing them. I love participating in them, but planning them out and then scheduling it gets to be too much.
I mean, I used to sit and run them in the bleachers watching my son's basketball practices and games, like 90% of the time when esports EDU was happening, because it's like evening for everybody out on the East Coast, which is where most people were joining in from. But for me over here on the West Coast, it was like the worst possible time. My son would be like hitting like the tweet button for all my saved stuff, like if I didn't have it in a tweet deck and it wasn't all or plugged into Hootsuite to go live, like it was all. Yeah, I mean, half the time it was him. Can you read that to me? Can you type this as a response? Like, it was a team effort.
Yeah.
I also think this is like, I mean, doing this forum for me is like, it's so much more low risk and chill. Like, I don't know. I feel like the education world, not really our like esports education, but like education, social media, everyone's so like judgy.
Yeah.
Well,
everyone always comes for you. I posted something on Twitter and it went viral. I don't even know. I just was like ranting about, because I was like, oh, my 100 followers are going to see this. And I posted something about, I don't even remember what it was. And somebody like came for me and they were like, well, if you weren't blah, blah, blah. I was like, wow.
That's what's great about this again, is that there's power in the group that we have here. There's power in the network of people that we've developed relationships with, because this, again, what we were losing in the Twitter chats was the relationship building in the community. It was really what it was for people to come in, lay a bomb and leave.
Yeah.
And not really engage in any conversation. Yeah. And this is getting better. I would love to have, of course, it would be a nightmare, but have 100 people in a room. If you had a Fortnite creator code, that would work.
We could do it.
If I had a Fortnite creator code,
live.
You're 52 away, by the way. 52.
We could end the stream, and at the end of the stream, everyone could hop on a Fortnite game.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that could be our week,
But here's what we got right now. We have 2 minutes left, and there's one big thing that we need to. I need to promote really quickly. One big one. In 2 weeks, Jarrell is going to do a takeover.
Ooh, I'm so excited.
So it's going to be a bit of a NASEF takeover, game night takeover.
That's
Esports EDU. He wants to do it. He is a co-host of the show.
Go.
And so Jarrell said, "Hey, can we do this?" And I don't think anybody will object to us switching it up a little bit around Christmas time and saying, "Hey, let's have a bit of a party." I did allude to the party earlier, so it's like, okay, let's leverage some of these creator codes.
So, quick question.
I like that.
The problem, unless I
I'm gonna start calling him that.
No.
Oh, I like that. I like that.
Coco Jarrell.
Yes.
I'm wondering if is the karaoke machine coming out for this?
That's your new Twitter name, Jarrell.
Oh, I could make the the karaoke.
I feel like it has to.
That is
I feel like this has been talked about for so long that if he's actually doing the takeover, there needs to be a karaoke machine. Like, this has to happen.
It's going to happen. Yes, I will. I've already worked out all the software. I got the software completely working on my end. The one issue I have is the sync up, because I've tested it. And I don't know how I fix this, but I will.
Well, that and like all the copyright strikes, which I'm sure won't be a problem. I mean,
It won't. You know why? I own the licenses. I can use these in public spaces.
okay, then we're good.
They're karaoke versions of popular songs.
Yeah.
I don't think I have an issue. I can take them to bars, and I've used them in bars before. I've bought the license. So
Yeah.
I don't have anything from like 2010 on. So yeah, if you want, I don't know, you want to hear WAP, it's not happening, but
not on this.
What?
Not where I am. No,
Probably not an EDU appropriate song.
No.
Maybe.
James, what you doing listening to WAP?
I got to drive around town to something.
And that's what you choose. That's what you choose. Okay.
What about
with the windows down?
What about Britney's new song? I can't karaoke.
Oh, it was so bad. Oh, Britney.
I hadn't heard it. My daughter mentioned it last night.
Don't do that to yourself. Just I listened to that new. I listened to it, and then I had to listen to all her stuff from the late 90s and early 2000s to cleanse myself. It was so bad. All right. We're over time. Final thoughts for the night, Bradford. We'll let you know.
Oh, I get to be first. I've never been first before.
Because we don't usually have a lot of time, but
wow. Okay. Plan ahead. There's time to plan for what's going to happen next year. Things are going to change. It's going to be different regardless of what you think it might be. So there's still time to plan in this virtual space.
Carrie?
We're Liminal's getting ready to open up our winter applications for our winter fellowship. So if you know any amazing college students or say overachieving high school seniors, keep an eye on our Twitter and our LinkedIn because our fellowship opportunity will be opening up shortly.
Why is there a truck?
I don't know.
Bradford, you have a bus driving through your house? What happened there?
Y'all can hear that?
That was so loud.
Dang, this blue mic is the bomb. This Yeti mic is the bomb.
That was literally sounded like someone was about to drive through your wall.
Yeah. Yes.
This
Do you live on a freeway?
This mic is on point. Wow.
Okay.
All right, Angelique, what's your final thought?
This is the mic right here. Can y'all see it?
Yeah, we see it.
No, I see a boom thing.
You see the boom thing? I don't want to break it.
No,
There.
Yeti?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's like a $300 mic.
Oh my god. I got my like $30 Amazon mic. It's doing me well. My final thoughts. Please follow me on Twitter so I can get a kids.
Yes.
I know we've been silly about it, but I am very excited to host my own game nights for my students. My kids are really disconnected from school. They're really struggling. Like mental health is struggling, and giving them this opportunity to like meet somewhere and be on Twitch and be in chat and talk to people and meet new people and hold my gaming club virtually has connected so many freshmen to a school they've never been a part of. And it's just been great. And
you're 37 away now. 37.
My other final thought is just thank you guys for being so nice and like posting about me. And you've said such nice things. And I just really love this family and love everything that has happened here for like the last however many months. Just so thankful.
My final thought is this, and I see this person in chat for the first time, and I hope she's still here. Hillary fan, you are awesome. Anybody comes for you, you know I'm coming for them. So if anybody comes after Hillary fan with anything, Twitter, whatever, you know I'm coming right after her because Hillary is awesome. And I will go to bat for that girl every time. And anybody who wants to tweet at her and like try to drag her through with every department in UCI like a friggin' child needs to take their venture capital money and go swim in the ocean with it. All right. That's all I've got for tonight. There's a story behind that, but I won't share that tonight. Everybody have a great night. Thank you for being part of the Esports EDU chats and the Esports EDU community. We'll be back again next week. Everybody take care.